but this is episode 1 of my relaunched podcast, SWO After Dark. Why? Because I am a retired surface warfare officer, which really means that I am a surface warfare officer on the retired list. I still have my commission and my designator for the rest of my life. The other part of it is I'm going to do these things after the sun goes down. So I'm a SWO After Dark. I'm going to talk more about that. I've got a few things of SWO. This is my man cave, so I have a model of my last ship, USS Iwo Jima. The other LHD I'm drinking my Coke out of was USS Kearsarge. I have 2 classmates who are on both of the ships. One is commanding the ship right now and getting her out of the maintenance availability and into the workups and ready for the deployment and all that good stuff, which is, I'm sure, pretty accelerated right now, given what's going on as I am recording this on March the 18th of 2026. So we're almost 3 weeks into our operations in Iran. So they may end up over there. I don't know. I have no way of knowing. I don't have a need to know. I don't know what the ship's operational schedules are like. I've been out of the game too long. So take that as it will. And then my other classmate is the executive officer, and she'll end up taking command in a few months, I think November or something like that. But on the Iwo Jima, they captured Maduro. So pretty neat. I'm envious. Maybe I shouldn't have retired. And that's why the title of my initial episode here is Why I Left the Navy, What No One Tells You. So a little bit about me. 2001 graduate of the Naval Academy, been surface warfare officer my entire career, 7 shipboard tours on 6 ships, and retired with 20 years and 7 months and 6 days from a tour in the Pentagon, being a China policy or political military planner. And I retired at the very end of 2021 as the ball in Times Square literally hit the bottom. That's when I was officially retired. I went to work as a contractor, had a part-time job doing remote stuff. It was all interesting. Eventually, I left those roles, kind of bumbled around a little bit, and tried some other things like entry-level work in a call center, selling insurance, and most recently, I was working at a nonprofit in Jacksonville involved with a VA program called SSVF, that's Supportive Services to Veteran Families. And I was good at it, and I really had a passion for it. And somehow I still wound up being shown the door last month with no real explanation. So I'm working through that. So that's where I'm getting into what the nobody tells you part of it. Well, first, why did I leave the Navy? I was going as far as I could in the service. I was never going to get promoted again, and I didn't want to feel like every other tour was going to be me going overseas unaccompanied and leaving my wife with some significant service-connected disabilities, all alone and unafraid. So that was part of it. The other part was I'd always been told about what overqualified means, i.e. you're too old. So I thought if I'm getting into a new career in my early 40s, this will be a great thing and I can make this work. Well, several years have gone by. I've been challenged to actually stay anywhere, and I'm still trying to figure out what my purpose is. And now here I am, 47. So now I'm definitely up against that barrier where it's harder to get an interview, and then when I do get an interview, they ghost me, and I'm sitting here trying to come up with potentially other plans. I just applied to get a master in social work, so I did discover from my most recent job as a peer support specialist that this is actually something I want to do. I want to help veterans. I want to be in veteran services. So I'm currently going halfway through a course that's being taught at another nonprofit in the Jacksonville area to get my certification and then proceed with getting my observed 500 hours and all that good stuff so I can be officially a certified recovery peer specialist. The state of Florida requires 2 years of either mental health recovery or substance abuse recovery. And for me, I've been focusing on the mental health part of it mostly. And I've been working on that since even before I had actually retired. I started working on my mental health during my very last tour, which was way too late. Honestly, I should have done this a long time ago, but that's why I decided to retire, relocate, come back here to Florida, enjoying the weather. Life's good, mostly. What they don't tell you, that's the part I want to get back to. And for me, it's the loss of identity. I wore the uniform from the time I left high school until the day I retired. So counting my Naval Academy time, it was more like 24 and a half years that my entire adult life from age 18 to age 43. That's all I did. That's all I knew. And I wasn't prepared for the civilian world. I thought it would be easier than it ended up being. You go through your transition classes, your TAP and everything. I went through Onward to Opportunity. I got connected with different other nonprofits that work with veterans, such as Hiring Our Heroes, American Corporate Partners. One that's really taken off now, headquartered here in Jacksonville, is Operation New Uniform. So there's all kinds of, we also have Wounded Warrior Project. I mean, Jacksonville is a great place to be in veteran services because we have so much of this activity going on and so many great organizations. And so I'm just trying to find which one where I'm going to belong to and give it another go. But I do have a passion about this, which is why I'm sitting here talking to myself in my man cave and just kind of going thought stream. So loss of identity, that's kind of a big thing that seems to hit most of us. Finding purpose. Okay, I did all this. Now what? Now what am I going to do? And why don't people understand me? And they tell us that, hey, if you're a veteran, they all want to hire you, especially if you have more than 30% disability rating. I'm at 80. I'm struggling to find work. It's hard not to take it personally, and I'll admit, I've gone and thrown stuff in social media that I shouldn't have done. Then I've pulled those things back, but I've done this, and I have a pattern of doing this when I get frustrated, and to the point that I've got friends who are worried about me. Sometimes I'm good right now. Don't worry about that. And I'm sure it's not helping me with my job search either. But we'll see what happens. So worst case scenario, well, not even a worst case scenario. The next couple years are going to go in one of a couple of directions. I could just focus on getting my MSW degree and certifications and all that stuff and continue doing that and just be a full-time student. I mean, that's a great way to explain a gap in a resume, right? Certifications, people love alphabet soup behind our names, right? So the more letters I can cram behind my name that aren't Commander, USN, retired, or, you know, hardly anybody ever puts that they've got a bachelor's degree and a master's degree, even though you can obviously do that. But really, the culture in America is basically that you don't do that unless you've got a doctorate degree. I don't have any plans to get a doctorate degree. I don't want to do research for the rest of my life. And because my last name's Coop, yeah, being Dr. Coop would sound kind of cool, but no, it's not what I want to do. So that's I guess the 30,000 foot view of what I'm doing, what I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to accomplish, and trying to figure out how I can be different in a very saturated blog, vlog, podcast, basically a very congested content creation space, and what could make me different. I don't know. That's what I got to figure out. But I want to end this with why I want to do this and why I've been trying off and on for the past several years in a few different iterations. And this is stuff that I directly got to observe and appreciate during my 10 months at the nonprofit, working with the homeless veterans or veterans at risk of being homeless or their families, is that you're not alone in this. If you're in the process of transitioning out of the military, if you have transitioned and things haven't gone all that great, or you've had some unexpected challenges, you're not alone. And it's easy to feel lost. It's also a tough job market, like it or not. I can sit here and want to blame everybody for my problems. The last supervisor I worked for had it. I'm convinced he was looking for a reason to get rid of me. He didn't like me for some reason, probably because he kept getting busted and he was enlisted and he didn't like having an officer. I don't know. Just my thoughts. I have no idea. I was doing well until he showed up. And then suddenly I went from I'm doing everything right to I'm doing nothing right. But that's in the past. Again, you want to assign the blame. What did I do wrong? I don't know. They won't tell me. So, which creates a feeling of being lost. Okay, you're suddenly a schooner and you're 3 streets to the wind. And I don't mean by drunk. I mean you just don't have any control of your vessel. You're a ship without a rudder. It's not a very good feeling. And I'm also trying to make this into something that, as I build more content, that can be compiled or used as a sort of field guide. I do want to turn this into an interview format where I can talk with people with all different experiences. Characterization of discharge doesn't matter. I'll be happy to interview somebody with a dishonorable. No judgment here. And that leads me to my last thing is I want to create a place where we can expect honesty and community and learning. So with that, I'm Coop, and have a fine Navy day.